Hey guys, Michael Bice here. I'm here with Shane and Gary to talk about the Worlds. Stay tuned and have a listen.
So when do you head off to the Worlds, Michael?
I'm going to go tomorrow, and I'm going to go north of Holland, above where Worlds are, just for a physio treatment. And then I'll head into sort of Papendal itself on Thursday. I think official practice is Friday, so I'll get there the day before and just try and chill out.
So there's not too many people from New Zealand heading over. I noticed Rebecca Petch isn't on the entry list.
Yeah, we've got just 2 junior men. So I'm one elite male, and then we've got 2 junior men, Bennett and Rico Behrman, which I think those 2 have a pretty good chance to be in the mix for the podium or the win. So that's exciting for New Zealand as well.
So as an amateur, Rico had won a few World Championships, hadn't he?
Yeah, I think he's won 4 or 5, including Cruiser, one of them in Cruiser. And Bennett's always been there or thereabouts as well. Yeah, so those 2 are going really quick. And obviously New Zealand have had a pretty good history in terms of winning junior worlds with Maynard and Jesse Smith in 2019. So I think that, yeah, those 2 can show that New Zealand still can compete, even though New Zealand's quite small right now in terms of BMX.
Well, yeah, smaller than Australia, and Australia didn't send anybody, which is a bit of a shame.
We've got no juniors riding.
Well, we had 2 that were nominated, but they're not on the entry list, so they must have decided not to go.
Yeah, I've heard a couple things. One, that they weren't allowed to go. But then I don't see why the elites can go. So yeah, maybe they couldn't see the benefit in coming, especially with COVID and stuff.
Neither of the elites are going from Australia, are they?
Well, Isaac's here, and Josh McLean is coming, I think.
No, he's not on the entry list. Jack Davis.
But neither of those are based in Australia at the moment, is what I'm saying.
Oh, I see what you mean.
That's what I mean. Yeah, so they're not travelling from Australia. So that's probably why they wouldn't let the junior elites or the juniors go, maybe.
Yeah, but Jordan Callum's in America as well, so he's basically.
I'll shut up.
But yeah, you've got, say, is Lauren back in America?
Lauren's going to the Worlds.
Oh, cool. So Lauren, Saya, Isaac, Jack. I thought Josh was coming, but no.
He was nominated, but also not on the entry list.
Okay. So you've just got Isaac and Jack in the elite men?
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think Isaac will have some fire inside him to prove to himself and to, I guess, other people about Olympics. But I think a lot of people, it's going to be exciting because a lot of people are going to have either something to prove after Olympics or something to prove because they didn't get selected, or to themselves, lots of people like that. And then it'll be interesting to see how someone like Nick goes, having won the Olympics, and like how much hunger can he have inside him, just winning the biggest race in the world. It's going to be interesting.
Well, Nick seems to have a very relaxed approach to any of his races. It wouldn't matter if it was a World Cup or anything else I've ever seen him race. He never looks stressed. Have you noticed that racing against him? Have you ever seen him stressed out by racing?
Yeah, he does seem very calm. I think the thing with Nick is, we spoke about it before Olympics, is with Nick, it's like he has a switch in his head, and when he turns it on, he's unstoppable. But when that's not there, it's like he's holding back a little bit. And I don't think there's been times where, I think Argentina 2 years ago, he went out in the 1/8 final the first day, and then the next day he won. And it was like, well, how do you do that? Like, how do you? It's not like he sort of made a mistake or crashed in the 1/8 final. He just didn't ride aggressive enough, and then the next day he was first in the final. So yeah, he's a bit like Stromberg. I think Stromberg could do the same thing. Like when he's on, and when he's not, it's just little bits off.
I guess maybe instead of breaking down each rider, maybe we should get you to tell us who you think is going to get in the podium and throw some names out there that way.
Oh, yeah, it is hard with obviously the Olympics just happening. I think there's going to be, like I said, a few different people standing up and showing that hunger. I can see some of the obviously Dutchies standing out. Twan's been practicing on this track a hell of a lot, and he'll have a lot to prove to himself. And I think it's going to be his last race, so he can put it all out on the line. So I think Twan might have a chance. Someone like Romain Mayu, I think, with a really impressive performance at the Olympics, but didn't get what he wanted in the final. I think he's going to be a force to be reckoned with as well. Maybe the same with Joris Dorday, but it's all depending on how they handled that situation at the Olympics, because it was only 2 weeks ago. So they'll still be dealing with the emotions, the disappointment, or the dealing with how well they did and trying to get over that and get back into that hungry mode of wanting to do well. I see Kai White's got COVID, so he's not racing. I think you always got to count Kai in for a final if he's riding. So yeah, I think the Dutchies, Nick doesn't actually train on Papendal as he lives in Switzerland, but he's been there for so many years. I think that he's always going to be a force to be reckoned with on this track, or not even on this track, just in general. And then, yeah, same as someone like David. He's just had a really disappointing Olympics. I think it's his last ever race. I think he'll have to be coming out guns blazing to show himself and show the world what he was made of. So, yeah, I think this is almost harder to predict than the Olympics. Olympics, there's only 24 guys.
I was going to say, it's a bigger field to start with, yeah.
Yeah, and there's more playing on the mind. Like Olympics there's no other race that matters. This is all that matters. Where now, like I said, some people have just had a really good Olympics, and maybe they're not as hungry and desperate to do well. And there's some people that are disappointed, and maybe sometimes disappointment can go two ways. Sometimes you can just be not confident down in the dumps, or it can be fuel to the fire and you can come back fighting. So it's really hard to sort of predict. It's the same for the women. Like Bethany could be on cloud 9 and just come out and smoke everyone from the first gate, or she could kind of just be, you just won a gold medal and your life's changed for the last 2 weeks. I don't know how you could sort of get that hunger back and get back into the focus to do it again for the world champs. So it's going to be interesting to watch, and I think we're going to see a few new results and new faces on the podium.
Do you think someone like Elise or Saya might be out to try and prove themselves as well? So, you can't just think that Bethany might be, if she's on, she's going to take the win, could you? Because you've still got these two girls and Laura.
Yeah, Meryl.
Yeah, it's just it's so deep. Even though there's only about 40 of the girls racing, it's such a deep class.
Yeah, for sure. And momentum works both ways. Like Bethany has all the momentum in the world, so she's going up with her confidence and everything. But maybe for some of those girls that didn't have a great Olympics, momentum goes this way as well. It's hard to sort of turn it around. But yeah, for sure, Elise and Saya showed glimpses at Olympics why they are one of the fastest in the world. So I think they'll have a little bit of confidence and a lot to prove to themselves, it's a good thing. So yeah, I think Saya and Elise could come out and right their wrongs at Olympics and prove to us. And it's really hard to predict. Laura and Meryl, it's essentially their home track. I think Laura's feeling good after Olympics. Felicia, if she's coming, she got fourth, so that's the hard place to get, fourth. And then even Peyton, like she didn't have a greater showing at Olympics. I think she's capable of showing much more, so she'll be out to show it as well. There's so many people with so many different emotions because of Olympics, because of Olympic qualifying, that I think it's going to be a cool Worlds. We've never had Worlds straight after the Olympics before. Typically, it's a month or two before the Olympics. So it's a new way of racing the Worlds, I guess.
It's interesting you haven't mentioned Zoe Claessens
she'll
yet.
be another one. A lot to prove to herself. She's ridden on Papendal quite a bit recently. The ECI Centre did a lot of training at Papendal before the Olympics. So yeah, she's going to be another one, a lot to prove to herself, and she's always one that just rides without pressure and without expectation. She just looks like she's so composed all the time. And obviously Olympics didn't go away, but I don't know whether that was her fault or just the way it unfolded. So yep, she'll be a force to be reckoned with as well. There's so many, and I can't predict. Sorry.
So I had a quick look at the junior elite classes, and I'm not really familiar with a lot of them. I guess it's because we haven't had World Championships for 2 years, and these guys haven't really had a lot of racing either. Are there any names there that we should look out for that you've noticed in the junior women, junior men?
Yeah, in the junior men class, I think it's going to be pretty good racing. I think both Kiwi boys are going to be in the mix, Bennett and Rico Bierman. Bennett Greenoff, that is. And then yeah, there's a couple fast Dutch riders, Jamie O'Brink and Tim Goosens. So where I am in Belgium, there's a fast Belgian boy, Juanis. His last name is Margolins, and he's world champion from 2019 in 15-year boys. So this is his first year in junior elite, but he's going really quick. And then yeah, I think those guys are the favourites. There's a couple fast Italians as well. But in terms of the European champs that they've just had and the World Cups earlier in the year, those guys that I just mentioned were always there or thereabouts. And it's going to be interesting. There's a few Americans coming that we haven't seen race the Europeans, and the Kiwi boys haven't raced the Europeans yet. So, yeah, it's new. Like, these boys are all coming together. They've matured a lot since the last time they've seen each other or raced each other. So I think, yeah, if one guy thinks that he was fast 2 years ago, I think things might have changed.
There's always a South American contingency as well, isn't there?
Always. There's always 10 South American guys you've never heard of that are fast. And then junior woman. Oh yeah. Just went blank for a second. There's a French girl. I think her name's Melanie Beltrando. And
Marianne?
she's, yeah, maybe I don't know how to say her first name. Sorry. And I've never seen her lose a race. She's incredible. She is incredible. They had a French Cup at one of the tracks maybe 2 months ago, and all the elite French girls were there, and she smoked them. So she's super impressive. I think you could see her on the top step of the podium. And then the Belgian girls, the twins, the Gomez, I think they'll be there or thereabouts in the final as well. And yeah, there's a few French girls that should be some good racing as well. I see some of them jumping the triple into the first turn, which shows how far women BMX have progressed in our sport if they're jumping the triple into the first turn. I know it's a bit smaller now than a few years ago, but I think 4 or 5 years ago there was probably Elise, Felicia, and maybe Caroline that would jump the triple, where now there's junior elite girls jumping it as well. So that's good to see. Yeah.
So you've been in Europe for 4 months now, and you've been to Papendal quite a bit over that time, haven't you? What parts of the track are going to bring people unstuck, do you think?
For the male side, for the pro section, I think the first jump out of the first corner is quite small, quite technical. So that decides how much speed you're going to have into the second corner with the berm jump. It's basically momentum. If you mess up the first one, you're not going to have as much speed into the second corner. If you get it good, you will have a lot of speed. So I think the second straight, it's not super technical, but it's easy to make a mistake. The second jump, there's a few lines emerging now. Some people are triple manualing it, which is a little bit more risky than jumping it, but it's a little bit quicker. So I think you're going to see some people taking the risk and try and get the reward. But yeah, like I said, it's easy to make a mistake there. So I think the second straight is going to be quite vital. And then the third straight, it's super important to be precise on that third straight. If you make one over jump, one case, again, it's going to make a big difference. So I think the second and third straight are the ones that are going to decide the race. The first and the last straight are quite basic and quite simple. Obviously, it's important to get down that first straight and first, and I think we're lucky here at Papendal to have a super long first straight, so it's going to definitely separate the riders going into that first corner. It's not a short first straight like Manchester or Zolder, where there's almost 8 guys wide going into the first corner. That's when a lot of carnage happens. We're at Papendal, it's quite long. So I think we're going to separate a lot going into that first corner, and then you're going to, down that second and third straight, you're going to have to jostle to get in that fourth position or hold on to first. And for the girls, I think their third straight's actually really technical this year. Lots of rollers, lots of jumps, really close together. So it's going to be, I think the skillful riders are going to really shine through on that third straight. Their second straight's a little bit basic and a little bit simple. It's hard to create speed. It's hard to lose speed, really. So, yeah, for the girls, I think the first and second straights are going to be quite normal, and then the third straight's going to really show who's going to come through.
So with the women, if there's 41 women, does that mean quarterfinals, or is that semis?
No, it'll be more semis. They could potentially do 6 1/8s, couldn't they? What's that equal? 6 times 8, 48. No, they couldn't do that.
No, quarters would be 32 plus 1, I think. I'm not sure of the UCI ruling on it.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that stuff either. I don't really think about that too much. I just deal with a race as it comes. But so Worlds has done 3 motos and then into the next round. So it's not like the World Cup style we see where it's one race, last chance qualifier, and then into dead man. So we've got 3 motos. This is what, as far as I know, 3 motos, and then the top 4 qualify into 1/8 finals for the men, I think, and then it's just quarter semi final. Dead man, obviously, we're coming off the Olympics where it was 3 quarters, 3 semis, 1 final, so it's a little bit different again. But yeah, this is kind of the normal format that we're used to from years ago. You have 3 motos into knockout rounds.
And your 3 motos with the same people each time, or are they random now?
Yeah, same people each time. And I've heard that they're 6-man motos, so it should be quite tight for that 4th position, as there's only 6. Basically, if you get 6, you're not too far away from getting a 4th and being back in the mix. So when there's 8-man motos, if you do get an 8th, it's really difficult. Unless you can win the race, it's really difficult to sort of fight your way back into that 4th spot. But when there's 6 in a race, you can always, if you crash or if you come last, you can always get like a 3rd and a 3rd, or a 3rd and a 2nd, or you're always within a chance to get back in to qualify. So I think that should be some good racing, and then I think it will go 8-man 1/8 finals, 6-man quarters, and then 8-man semis. I think that's the way it will go. So
big day of racing.
Massive.
Yeah, what's that? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 races if you make it to the final. Is that 7? 8 scores. Yeah, 7. 7 races if you make it to the final, which is quite normal, I think, for a World Cup.
So I think I worked out that the racing starts, it's 9 a.m. there, obviously, but it starts at 5 p.m. here, which is just before Gary's time to go to sleep.
Now.
Do you think you'll be able to stay up for the whole night and watch all the racing, Gary, or do you think you'll nod off before it really starts to heat up?
Oh, no, I'll watch a fair bit of it. I won't be watching all of it.
Hopefully they do a good job live streaming, because in the past they haven't streamed the motos and they've started the 1/8 finals.
That's right.
But my opinion is the motos are some of the exciting races, especially if you are supporting a rider that's sort of in the mix to qualify out of the motos or something. Obviously, for the likes of Nick Kim and the motos are pretty boring. But yeah, for our families and stuff that like watching every race, it's good to see the motos.
So, Michael, you said you might get a chance to do some interviewing with some of the riders before and potentially after the racing. Who are you going to chase after for us?
Yeah, I was considering it. I do need to put some thought into it if I will do it. I think get a microphone would be a good start. You want to do it good quality if you're going to do it.
Start.
Yeah. I was just going to go around and see some of the riders that I know and just talk to them about the Olympics, if they've been there or if they haven't, how they're sort of prepping for the Worlds and what expectations they've got. And it was just kind of to get a behind the scenes look on the riders, as we don't really have that in BMX. You might know someone from Instagram, but you don't really get to see them talking without a structured interview. I didn't want to do it very super structured and professional. Just kind of just talk to them normal. Yeah, I've seen a mountain biker do it, win Masters, and he kind of gave me the idea. He's a little bit different than how I'd want to do it, but it's the same idea. And I love watching his ones just to see the rider's personality and what their thoughts are before the race. I think when it's quite off the bat, riders tend to give their honest opinion in terms I've gone blank.
Yeah, that's why we don't have script sheets or anything. Just off the bat.
Yeah. Otherwise, if it's too structured, you end up going back to your robotic answers, and you tell them what they want to hear, or not what they want to hear, what they should hear, instead of what they want to hear.
It'll be great to have you on the ground there doing that. That'll be awesome.
Yeah, I'm not promising, but I'll see if I can do it.
I don't think I've got any more questions about the Worlds. Have you, Gary?
No questions. Just I'd love to see the Aussies do quite well. And what you were talking about before in regards to Joris Daudet and a couple of those who, didn't have a fantastic Olympics. It's I think that's going to fuel the fire, like you said, to a few of those riders. I think they'll come in with something to prove, so they'll all be going hard. So
yeah,
but yeah, I just want to wish Jack and Isaac, sort of all the luck in the world. So,
You've got the girls.
yeah, that's only because I'm looking at Jack and Isaac at the moment. So
Okay.
you can do the girls, mate.
Oh well, I'm not going to point anybody out specifically. I just enjoy watching BMX, so I reckon good luck to all the riders.
Yeah,
especially you, Michael.
Oh, thanks. I was waiting for that, Shane. Shane.
Yeah, that's all I've got.
Hopefully I can race, yeah. For those that don't know, I've been struggling with some neck issues over the last few months. I haven't really prepped as I would have liked, but I'll give it a go this week and see how I feel.
It'd be great to see you get amongst it again, Michael.
Certainly will.
Yeah, I've been craving it ever since I was racing Verona 4 months ago. Feels like yesterday that I was speaking to you guys after that, but certainly time's passed.
Oh God, yeah, flies at the moment.
Yeah.
All right, well, fingers crossed. You get to ride and have a bit of fun. And if you don't, then you've got no excuses. You have to give us videos.
Yeah. All good luck, mate. It's
Thank you.
Yeah, you're a good guy, and hopefully you can get out there and that all feels comfortable for you.
Yeah, have some fun.
Yeah, exactly. It's the main thing.
No, thanks, guys.
No worries. Thanks, mate, and good luck.
Thanks,
honestly.
Hey guys, welcome to the ECITV Worlds show. We're going to talk about what we think is going to happen for the Worlds, and that was not good. So what do I say at the end? Hey guys, it's Michael Bias here. I'm with Gary and I was about to say Shane again.
I thought it was Gary.
Oh, this is Shane. I was about to say Sean and then I got mixed up. Maybe I am. Okay, last one. Hey guys, Michael Bias here. I'm here with Shane and Gary to talk about the Worlds. Stay tuned and have a listen.